Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Shakira Pierre. In the headlines, Ministry of Health starts drive-through testing and Dominica joins inaugural CARICOM-AFRICA Summit. Details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. History was made this week after the inaugural CARICOM-AFRICA Summit took place on Tuesday, September 7. Kenya hosted the virtual event under the theme Unity Across Continents and Oceans, Opportunities for Deepening Integration. Plans for Kenya to host the CARICOM-AFRICA Summit in 2020 had been put on hold because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The summit follows the declaration by the African Union of the Diaspora as the sixth region of Africa. President of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, anticipates that the deliberations will institutionalize CARICOM-African Union collaboration.
African and Caribbean cultural and political ties run deep based on our shared history, culture, as well as a sense of our common identity. Our common historical experience of slavery and colonialization inspired Africa's founding fathers to form the Pan-African movement in the 1900s. This movement was championed by the Africans in the diaspora, which established the foundations of a rich and vibrant African-Caribbean relationship. So today, let us come together and seize the moment to harness the tremendous potential of this unique relationship into a powerful social, economic, cultural, and political force.
The summit follows a series of visits between the leaders of CARICOM and Africa, including the visits by President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, and President Kenyatta to the region in 2019. A mutual visit to Kenya by Barbados Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Mottley, also in 2019, as well as visits to Namibia and South Africa by Jamaican Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness in 2018, and Kenya in 2019. And and a visit to Ghana by Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley in 2020. The Kenyan president believes the summit has laid a firm foundation for greater economic trade and investment opportunities between Africa and the Caribbean, and solidarity in actions to address global challenges, including climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic.
This summit has provided a platform to envision a future anchored on shared prosperity for our two regions. And in this context, we have had a rich, productive discussion on the key pillars of this shared vision. The first is our aspiration for a much deeper political cooperation and collaboration between the African Union and the Caribbean community, building on our shared heritage. The second is to manage the risks and threats that confront us. In particular, the management of the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and debt sustainability, all of which require a multinational approach.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit expressed Dominica's willingness to play its role to advance greater collaboration between the two regions.
Dominica stands ready to play its part in a meaningful and tangible way in advancing this effort of greater collaboration between our nations. And I can say to you, Excellency, that here in the Caribbean, there is great excitement and anticipation for stronger ties, stronger collaboration, and increased contact between our peoples and among our peoples. So I really want to place on record my full support for this inaugural summit, and to urge that we move with speed. We've put in the infrastructure in place to allow this to be an annual event, not only of heads of government and heads of state, but for there to be this contact among our people, that our African brothers and sisters can visit us in the Caribbean, and of course we from the Caribbean can reciprocate that particular action.
As part of the new collaboration, the African Union generously agreed to invite CARICOM to be part of the African Medical Supplies Platform for the acquisition of COVID-19 vaccines, which allowed the community to benefit from bulk purchasing. The vaccines began arriving in CARICOM last month. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment had an initiative drive-through testing at the Winter Park Sports Stadium to accommodate more persons who would like to know their COVID status. The Know Your Status and Get Tested initiative continues to contribute in controlling the surge in COVID-19 cases. Minister for Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, says the drive-through testing took effect on Tuesday, September 7, 2021.
The drive-through testing will be at the Winter Park Stadium, and you come down Bath Road, and at the main entrance of the Winter Park Stadium, that's at the end of Kennedy Avenue, you enter the stadium, you turn right and enter the stadium. On entering the stadium, you will turn left and drive down to the drive-through testing site. Your swab will be taken, and then you'll exit the stadium at the Riverside end. That's the exit area. So, and then your test result will be emailed to you.
The drive-through testing continued throughout Wednesday and Thursday. Dr. McIntyre says information will be provided later for next week's drive-through testing location. That's
an addition to our testing program that we've started off, and we're going to continue in Dominica. Actually, it's been done together with GMed Global. It's a US-based firm led by Dr. Arvind Bhagapur and his Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ramin Ahmadi. As a matter of fact, Dr. Arvind Bhagapur was a student at Ross University, so his love for the country of Dominica remains.
GMed Global has been one of the largest private COVID-19 testing companies in the US and are capable of testing near 1,000 people per day.
They trained our staff, and they also donated 2,000 test kits And they're also donating an ultra-low vaccine freezer, which can store up to 16,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine, a total donation of about $300,000. So we're really grateful, and we thank GMED Global for their contribution in our fight against COVID-19 in Dominica.
Honorable Dr. McIntyre says though testing is critical, the vaccination program remains a major defense against the COVID-19 virus.
We really want the public to take part in our vaccination program. As a matter of fact, today, September is the month of the elderly. So today we did quite a few of the elderlies. We did the infirmary today. We had an excellent vaccination program at the infirmary today. We actually vaccinated 35 people at the infirmary today, which is very good. And tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to continue the vaccination of elderly in all our 7 health districts. So those who can get to the health center will be there waiting for you. And those who can't, our teams will come out to your homes, to your doorstep, to get you the vaccination that you've been waiting for. And that's just our outreach program. We want everyone to avail themselves, and we'll make the vaccines available to everyone.
Business establishments, to include Flow, Whitchurch, and Fine Foods, will partake in the business vaccination program on Wednesday, September 8, 2021. The Ministry of Health will also undertake a community integration and awareness for the vaccination program on Thursday, September 9. The district health teams will work alongside the parliamentary representatives in order to achieve a successful community vaccination drive.
We're going to ramp up even further, because obviously when the Pfizer vaccine comes, when we can actually vaccinate those from 12 to 17 years, so it will be even a much bigger program. But we've started off, and so far it's been going very good. We really appreciate the participation of the public in our vaccination program. But vaccination cannot be seen in isolation alone. It must be done together with the public health and social measures. So while we're getting vaccinated, we must still continue to wear our mask, still continue to wash our hands frequently, still continue to sanitize frequently, touch surfaces, still continue to be very careful and exercise some really good respiratory etiquette regarding how we sneeze and how we cough in the public.
The government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Health, continues to provide all the necessary staff and equipment to safeguard citizens. This is important in fighting the spread of COVID-19, but is left up to the public to do what is right. Know your status, get tested, get vaccinated, and continue to adhere to the protocols put in place by the Ministry of Health. Meanwhile, the LAYOU Research Center has been one of the most popular testing sites. Nurse Dana Laura has been involved in the testing process over the past weeks. Nurse Laura says the testing has been going well, and many have been availing themselves to get tested.
It's been going well. We've had high volumes of people coming in. It's different on some days, but I can't say that there has been any slow day, truly a slow day. We start usually about 10:30 because we go down to the health center first. We make sure we give vaccinations, take care of our clients, and then we come to do testing. We test over, on a full day at least, almost 200 people, 170 people if businesses keep coming in. And we're very good at what we do. We're speedy, we're accurate, we give accurate results. So people keep coming here to get tested. The businesses bring and all the employees to get tested at once. So they just make their arrangements.
Testing and vaccines go hand in hand in this COVID-19 fight. Nurse Laura highlighted the importance of vaccinations. Vaccines are also made available daily at several health facilities across the island.
We also like to advocate for vaccinations as well. So we encourage businesses, if you come to test with your company, you can also arrange with us to have your companies vaccinated as well. And we offer the Sinopharm and also the AstraZeneca at the St. Joseph Health Center. We are true advocates for vaccinations because it's the only way that we're going to get the numbers down. And it doesn't seem that COVID is going away anytime soon. We're seeing more and more children getting sick. Their parents are unvaccinated, so it's a consequence of being unvaccinated. you have less chance of transmitting the virus to your children, to your household if you are vaccinated. You have less chance of getting sick or becoming severely ill and dying if you become vaccinated.
Forest Officer Ms. Jacqueline Andre was waiting to get tested. She says it is important to know your status and encourage the public to adhere to the protocols put in place by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment.
I'm here to do my antigen test. I was here last week. I'm required to do it on a weekly basis so that I can get to my office. I think it's important to know your status. COVID it's real, and you never know where you may have contacted the virus. So it's important to know your status, and it's important to be able to protect yourself and your family. So I think we need to follow the necessary protocol. Wash your hands, wear your mask, you know, do all the necessary basic hygiene stuff as much as possible. And the most important thing is avoid crowds. That is where I think most of those things are coming from. You avoid crowds, you isolate, you don't feel well, don't go to work, you just follow the basic protocol.
Testing was also ongoing at the Reginald Fitzroy Armour Hospital in Portsmouth. Nurse Junie Brewster, community health nurse for the Portsmouth Health District, says they too receive large daily turnouts for testing.
The testing has been very good, very, very good. On a daily basis, we do over 100 persons. For example, yesterday we had 155. Yeah, so the response has been very good as it relates to testing.
Nurse Brewster also emphasized why it is important to get tested and vaccinated.
It is very important to get tested and vaccinated. And it is very important that people recognize that the fact that you have had the vaccine doesn't mean that you cannot be exposed to COVID and that you cannot get COVID. As the science says, vaccination prevents you from getting the COVID as severe as you would if you were not vaccinated. But you are able to get it. So I would encourage persons to get tested and also have the vaccine.
Nurse Brewster says when Dominica received the first set of vaccines, many people turned out to get vaccinated. She says the numbers have dwindled over time. She continues to advocate for vaccination.
It's very, 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 very limited. There are days when you have just about 5. Okay? When we rolled out, there were lots of persons. Then the numbers went down drastically. So because of the way the bottles, you would have had to open more than one, a bottle for more than one person. We had to pull it together. So we had persons coming in on a Friday at the health center, right? So in that, you have a large amount of persons on Friday. Sometimes we do over 60 persons on a Friday, yeah? From last week, we have been trying to have the vaccine available here on a daily basis. But despite the fact that we come and we speak, people still do not avail the opportunity and have the test done, the vaccine done. But we would really want to encourage them to come and have the vaccine.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
This is CARICOM Secretary General Irwin LaRock. I took the jab, the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm encouraging you, my brothers and sisters, to join me. Take the jab and observe the protocols. We're saving lives and jobs.
Raise your voices high.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence is set to welcome fifth form students island-wide to virtual classrooms via the Google Classroom on September 13 to October 1, 2021. The government of Dominica has taken the decision to postpone the reopening of face-to-face learning to safeguard its students from the COVID-19 virus. The ministry has taken into consideration the anxiety surrounding the start of a new school year during this wave and has spent the last 3 weeks planning a new strategy to approach the upcoming school year. Online learning was implemented last year to facilitate a safer environment for students. Dr. Jeffrey Blaise expects more improvement this year as last year. He says the first experience for virtual classes last year would have prepared students and teachers for a better learning experience this year.
The formal instructional time would be 8 to 1, yes? So it would mirror what happens at the school. At least 8 to 1:30 because we have to have breaks in between because you want to really give the students some brain and eye breaks, you know, because they're going to be looking at the monitor for quite a while, this computer screen, so you have to incorporate that into the timetabling. So that is one. The second one is that we have to look at a timetable, a structure for engagement. So it's not a matter of a teacher says, well, I want to put something in math numeracy today and later on I'll do language. No, there has to be a formal structure.
Dr. Blaise says preparations to ensure smooth running of the new school year began last week.
During the month of September, we will be engaging all our teachers in professional growth and development. And during the course of the session, we will outline some of those activities that we're going to engage our teachers in. So from September pretty much first, well, last week we had our principals meeting, both primary and secondary. On Monday last week, we had our secondary principals, and on Tuesday we had our primary principals, and we got really good support from our principals. I must thank our principals and our teachers for providing the sort of support to the Ministry of Education, to the work of the Ministry of Education, and the public at large in that regard. So we had 2 successful meetings with our principals to outline some of the areas that we're going to be focusing on. And as I said, we are going to be engaging our teachers in training. We started our training yesterday. We started our training with our new teachers.
The Ministry of Education continues to conquer regardless of the many challenges the COVID-19 pandemic has brought on the education system. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Chandler Hyacinth, says legal procedures will be followed to link their new initiatives with the Education Act.
There are 3 main things that we in our approach. We are promoting safe distancing, social distancing, physical distancing of our students. We'll be promoting student rotation, and we'll be promoting online learning.
Meanwhile, students from 1st to 4th form and primary schools will begin their academic instructions on October 4, 2021.
Students from 1st to 4th form will begin instructions from October 4, 2021. Primary school students are expected to also begin instructions on October 4, 2021. The Ministry of Education is in the process of finalizing the model of instruction which will be utilized. This will most likely be a hybrid approach.
The Ministry of Education continues to look out for the safety of all students. The government of Dominica is committed to ensuring the safety of citizens. Minister for National Security and Home Affairs, Honorable Raymond Blackmore, informed that on Monday, the 6th and Tuesday, the 7th of September, 53 police recruits, 14 females and 39 males took the oath of office and will undergo 6 months training.
The active recruitment of new police officers that is currently ongoing is in keeping with government policy decision to increase the police establishment from 500 police officers to 600 police officers. I must add, increasing manpower is not simply about increasing numbers, nor is it about proceeding with business as usual. Therefore, this drive is cemented by the role of the police to protect and serve the citizens of Dominica and to increase capacity and skill within the police force.
Minister Blackmore says in order to execute the mandate to protect and serve, police officers need to be more visible and vigilant in the communities.
Over the years, your government, through the Ministry of National Security and Home Affairs, has intensified its effort to build a robust community policing platform, increase police capacity, and to provide the police service with as many resources as is possible. Therefore, there is a reasonable expectation by government that an increase in manpower will ultimately give rise to greater police presence on the streets and more efficient police response time and more visible and vigilant police presence and better and more efficient service to the public.
New amendments to the Environmental Health Services COVID-19 Regulations SRO 26 of 2021 for the reopening of more establishments have been approved by Cabinet. Effective Wednesday, September 8, 2021, restaurants are allowed to reopen for dining. Gyms, gaming establishments, and bars will also be allowed to reopen for business. Bars are to open only for purchase and pick-up. There shall be no music, congregating, or consumption of alcohol on premises. All nightclubs will remain closed. These new amendments are subject to adherence to strict health protocols, including physical distancing, sanitizing of hands, wearing of masks, and other protocols to be published by the Chief Medical Officer. All businesses and the public are encouraged to practice all safety measures to reduce the risk of infection. Businesses will be monitored by the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and New Health Investment. All protocols will be circulated for the information of businesses and the public. The public is further encouraged to know their status, get tested, and get vaccinated to continue the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. And now your weather update. A weak high-pressure system is expected to be dominant across the area during the next 24 hours, resulting in periods of cloudiness with brief showers. Relatively light winds will be maintained. Light winds, available moisture, and daytime heating could enhance afternoon showers. Meanwhile, a tropical wave is expected to produce scattered showers across the southern portion of the Lesser Antilles. Moderate seas are anticipated during the next 24 hours, with swells produced by Hurricane Larry peaking to 7 feet along the north through northeastern coast. The small craft advisory and a high surf advisory remain in effect. Small craft operators and sea bathers should exercise extreme caution. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here in the GIS News production team, I am Shakira Pear. Thanks for watching and stay safe.